The sunscreen secret that no one is telling parents. Now, this could be messing with your child's hormones. Your children are the most precious gifts that you have. So I used to think sunscreens, about 30 years ago, were just something that were necessary to protect us from burning in the sun. Like our skin weren't good enough, like nothing was good enough in a human being, and we needed medical intervention all the time, or we needed some expert's intervention to benefit us. So I'm Nik Dodson and I'm a biohacker. I am a clinical and forensic nutritionist. I am qualified, scientifically qualified, anatomy, physiology, human biology and toxin reduction. I am a practitioner in evidence-based supplemental medicine, and basically I'm looking at helping people now to live their best life. And the way I do that is look at giving people a blueprint to follow for harmful, hazardous and toxin reductions, so that basically the diet that they're already on will make the biggest difference. And if anything needs removing from that diet or from their lifestyle, then that's going to improve it before we even start adding anything to it. It's like this. If you want to carry water in a bucket, you would plug up the holes first. So there's no need to add anything unless you look at what you're removing first that's causing harm. So here's the big problem. So why is sunscreen so important? The truth is it isn't, but you put it on your children. See it, here's the urban myth. So it says times 16, times 20, times 50, or complete and total sunblock. If it's going to work, it has to have a mixture of chemicals that are all designed to layer over one another to prevent that burning. But truth is, it doesn't actually work. So you put the sunscreen on and you think that you can go into the sun 50 times longer, 20 times longer, 16 times longer. But the truth is that you can't. See, because there's no accounting for common sense. Well, really what's happening, when you're tanning, your skin is going through a burning process. So that's it. It's as simple as that. So what happens when something burns? It dehydrates. The more it dehydrates, the faster it burns. If you look at something when it's cooking, the more moisture leaves it, the faster it cooks. So if you add moisture to your skin, just plain moisture, then you will stop your skin from rapid burning, but you would still maintain the same sun exposure. So the point is, if you can only go in the sun for 30 minutes without burning, then do so, 30 minutes. Now, in countries that are very hot climates, people aren't in the sun all day with skin exposed because they understand. But when we go on holiday, we want maximum exposure all the time. And our children, we think they're playing in the sun. But the point, if the sun's going to be high and our children are going to play in the sun when it's extremely high, what kind of parents are we? But if we just want to say, okay, our children are with us and we're walking around, then we would put hats on them. We'd put clothes to cover them to stop them from getting burnt, as we would do with ourselves, but we'd have to think for them. But in the pool and places like that, we need to limit sun exposure because we would ourselves. We've got to think exactly the same. Skin's a fantastic organ. It's 5 layers thick. 5 layers thick. Unless we're looking at the inside of the arm, and that's 3 layers thick. But it's still plenty. Difference, 3 layers, 5 layers. Most of the places on your body, 5 layers. There are a few places where it's only 3 layers. But the skin, it was seen as the biggest organ in your body, and now your muscular system is seen as the biggest organ in your body. But it's semi-permeable, which means things can absorb through it, which means what you put on your skin will absorb into your bloodstream and will be carried around. Hence, a lot of the harmful properties that are in these sunscreens. So, here's a fact for you. Only 25% of sunscreens that are on shelves sold from shops today are actually considered safe and effective. That means the other 75% aren't. The majority aren't. Well, you're still buying this. And they've got highly controversial chemicals in. Oxybenzone, avobenzone, octocrylene. Basically, these are all derivatives of petroleum. They're all chemical derivatives of petroleum, which are parabens, which is a family of chemicals, right? So basically, we have a number of chemicals here that are all synonymous in the same way, that they are all endocrine disruptors. Endocrine system, hormonal system. What are these? These are what they call phytoestrogens, not just mimics in that sense, actual disruptors. So we have an epidemic in the world today. Male testosterone is crashing, and this is definitely contributing to that. I'm not saying in a major way, but I'm saying that it's definitely contributing to this. Even the testosterone in 18-year-old men is less than what it used to be 20 years ago. Here's a fact for you. The testosterone in men has doubled in its crash over the last 10 years to what it did 10 years before. And if we carry on the way that we are, and testosterone depletes at the rate that it is, in 10 years' time, women will have more testosterone than men. Think about that. So we're talking these days, do you want men to be feminized or do you want them to be masculine? It's also going to be affecting your immune system. So they absorb into your bloodstream and they do something called hormone mimicry. So as I said, your skin is semi-permeable and I wouldn't put anything on my skin that I wouldn't eat. What do I use? Now, I've learned to eliminate, I would say 99.9% of all toxins from my household living. How do I feel? At my base level, at my worst, I feel better than I did at my best before. I have a baseline standard now. And I don't think I need to look at excelling because then I'll always be comparing myself to that place. How I am now, I feel 100% better than before I started to cut everything out. Anyway, so the specific concerns that's been flagged up by the FDA for allergic reactions and possible risk to children. The EWG's 2025 report found that fewer than 25 sunscreens meet its strict criteria for safety and efficacy. According to its analysis, more than 2,200 SPF products, about 80% of products either fail to offer adequate protection or contain harmful ingredients. And this varies from very harmful to mildly harmful. Endocrine disruptors like previously mentioned, oxybenzone and avobenzone, which are the same families. So basically, the impact on your children, because they're more vulnerable. And they don't have thinner skin. The skin is the same. It's 5 layers thick. But the point is their bodies are much smaller. So you could argue, yeah, but the bodies are smaller, so I'm going to use less cream. No, you'll layer it on because you want to protect them. You'll layer it on. So the potential issues, crashes in testosterone in developing children. Now you may say that your children don't start to really boost in testosterone until they become, until they enter into puberty, till they become teenagers. So testosterone crashes, estrogen raises. So if estrogen becomes higher than what it should, in developing females, that's bad. That's really bad. There's a lot of potential in there for things to go wrong, seriously wrong. Because this is on an auto feedback loop. When you're putting more of this into the body, it's how it's affecting the cells, the mitochondria in the cells. So there's substantial laboratory and animal research indicating that certain chemical sunscreen ingredients can and do disrupt hormones to a lesser and greater degree. What's the answer? Basically, check the label. So I'm going to put something on at the end of this, which you can read through. And you can check through the FDA list of potential, and that means potential and probable and known carcinogens and hormone disruptors. So when you're reading a label, you need to look for the FDA's approval. Proposed safety thresholds, whether it creates allergic reactions, hormone disruptions, or skin irritations. When you're looking at the label, you need to have in mind any of these chemicals that's previously mentioned. There are other things that you can use that are less harmful. A lot of the more natural products contain zinc oxide. There's no problem with zinc oxide apart from one. You have to apply it on a regular basis. It lasts less than an hour. So you would be reapplying this every 40 to 50 minutes on your child or on yourself. The upshot of this is you start to look like a tablet of soap when you've put several layers of this on yourself. My advice is avoid the sun when the sun is at the highest in the heat of the day. The people who live in these cultures do so. Cover up when you need to cover up. Get out when the sun's not high. Limit your exposure. Make sure that your skin is hydrated and you're hydrated. There's some facts about hydration. You can drink as much water as you like and not be hydrated. Mineralization, to make the water isotonic when you drink it, will ensure that the water is absorbed into your cells. Water diffuses down a concentration gradient, and sodium, not table salt, mineralized sodium, like sea salt, Celtic sea salt, Baja Gold, Himalayan salt. But check the salt. I wouldn't get any salt coming out of China because it's been found to be full of heavy metals. I would get a really big pinch of this and put it in my container with my water. By the way, I don't drink tap water. I drink filtered water, because if you think that you can trust what's coming out of your tap, I'm going to do another video on what's actually in the water, and I'll give you the facts and I'll give you all the evidence for it as well. But you cannot trust what's coming out of your tap. These days it's recommended to either have an end of tap filter, Pure do one, and a few other companies, and if you see the filter at the end of a month, how much is being removed from the water, it will blow your mind. Or you can have an under sink filter, which is it's called a water 2, and there's 2 parts to it basically. One that filters everything barring the fluoride, and then what takes the fluoride out. But fluoride and heavy metals are just a small part of it. There's a lot of other chemicals besides chlorine in it. A lot of other chemicals, and you don't want these chemical nasties. You don't want to be drinking them, because you don't know what you don't know, and if you don't know they're in it, and you don't know what's happening to you as a result. This is not conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy fact. And I have personal testimonies from people who have been drinking tap water with a perfect diet. One person in particular went to Italy, came off diet, but drunk their fresh water, felt 100% better, came back, came to this country, went on strict on point diet, and started drinking our water, and became ill again. Realised very quickly the only difference was water. Bought the water 2 filter, and the secondary part to filter out the fluoride. Never looked back. Feels 100% better. Water's the big thing. So keep hydrated. Mineralised water goes directly into your cells. It's drawn into your cells, not in the interstitial fluid between. That's good. So stay hydrated, number 1. Number 2, keep your skin hydrated as well. Moisturiser. There's many natural moisturisers now. Some moisturisers that are honey and tallow, and they're not sticky. They're basically quite rich, and they have natural fragrances in them. There's a lot of natural moisturisers now, and natural-based sun creams, but they won't give you 50 times protection, 20 times protection, because as I said, that is actually technically a lie. How you read that and how you interpret it, then the experts say, no, it's not meant to be like that, but they don't tell you clearly that that's how it is. So we're just covering a few things here on the truth about sun creams. There is also, within that as well, one of the reasons why you will burn is because you wear sunglasses. Sunglasses doesn't allow the sun to pass into your eye and be detected at the back of your eye in the rods and cones, and your optic nerve links directly with the central part of your brain. And this releases certain chemicals that affect your circadian rhythm. So if you've got sunglasses on from early in the morning, you're still in your sleep mode. And your body won't produce certain necessary hormones and chemicals. Your skin needs melanin to tan. Your body needs an antioxidant called melatonin. Melatonin will not be produced by your body if you're covering up your eyes and they don't see sunlight. The light going in through the eye is a trigger for the production of melatonin, as is the infrared on the skin. You're not getting the full production of melatonin. And also the conversion of glutathione. So this is why you need to not wear sunglasses. It will also affect to some degree production of vitamin D3, which isn't just a vitamin, it's actually a hormone. It functions and it comes under the definition of hormone. So we've covered sun cream and we've covered sunglasses. And if you're bothered that you squint, it'll create wrinkles. If you hydrate your skin, it won't. Me personally, I'd rather wear a hat, a baseball hat, and pull the peak down a bit so the sun is not hitting me straight in the eyes. And if I'm going to sunbathe and I tan very easily, I'm going to make sure that I am fully moisturised, and I basically introduce longer and longer time in the sun. But even though I know that I don't burn easy, I don't allow for myself to be in the sun long enough to burn. And hence, longer and longer exposure allows more melanin to build up in the skin. And the UVA and UVB is the other thing that you need to know. If you just get UVA and you don't get UVB, like if you work behind glass, a lot of modern glass filters out UVB but not UVA. So when the sun shines, you get a lot of UVA and a lot of UVB. And UVB stimulates protection because it stimulates the cholecalciferol production in your skin, which is protective against the burning. So the UVB gives you stimulated protection. When you work behind glass, you don't get stimulated UVB protection because it filters out the UVB, so you just get UVA, so you get full burning. So people who work behind glass are more prone to burning and also skin disorders according to that, like skin cancers. And just a fact that I'm going to throw in there, the incidence of skin cancer has grown sevenfold since the introduction of seed oils. And by that I mean rapeseed oil. I mean, even the oils that are called omega-6 oils, isn't that great? That's the Mediterranean diet. No, it isn't. Because omega-6 creates an inflammatory breakdown of the cell membranes and creates something called oxidative linoleic acid metabolites. And that's not a good thing. And creating suboptimal cardiolipins is a cascade of a breakdown for the mitochondria in the cell, which is the energy factory, and the cell membrane. So as soon as that happens, the cell can't produce energy through oxidative phosphorylation, and it has to switch over to fermentation, goes rogue, and hence you've got a cancerous cell. This is just a summary and a conclusion, having read papers on this, and it is not my interpretation, it is what the papers actually say. And there's some amazing evidence on PubMed. I'm here to inform people, make them aware. So if you like what you've heard and you want to hear more, you can follow me on my YouTube channel and you can catch me on Instagram. I want to cover a wide range of subjects on this channel. Tune in, because part of what I'm giving you is factual and the rest is opinion. So I'll see you again.